Hello viewers, you're welcome to my YouTube video today. I'll be solving a problem as you can see on the screen. I'll read it out. The problem states that a veterinary doctor recorded the masses of 25 bucklings as follows: 8, or rather 11, 13, 12, 15, 10, 8, 10, 13, 9, 11, 12, 14, 13, 9, 13, 12, 9, 9, 8, 10, 13, 16, 9, 14, and 16 kilograms. These were the values recorded by the veterinary doctor for 25 bucklings. Now, the problem states that A, I should construct a frequency table for the data. B, I'm expected to use an assumed mean of 13 kilograms to calculate the mean. Okay. Now, this problem will help us to calculate mean using assumed mean. Now, mean happens to be one of the measures of central tendency. Other measures of central tendency include the mode and the median, but in this problem I'll solve the mean using assumed mean. Okay, now the solution. The A part, I'll pull out my table. The first column, I'll give it a name, mass, and the unit is kilograms. Okay, now I'll write out the masses over here, either in ascending or descending order. Now, using your eye level, you have to look through the values, the raw data given to you. You agree with me that 8 is the lowest, so I have 8, then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So I decided to use the ascending order of arrangement of the masses. You can decide to use descending order, it's still okay. Now the next thing for me to do is to name my second column as tally. So I have to pick out the amount of bucklings having these respective weights. So I'll use tally system to do that. For the first buckling is weighing 8 kilograms, so I have to go through the raw data. The first one over here, there's no any 8 kilograms here. I have the first 8 kilogram in the second column, so I'll mark it under the tally column. I move on to the third column, no any 8. The fourth column I have 1 8, so I'll add it up to this to make it 2. The fifth column I don't have any 8, so I have 2 bucklings, each weighing 8 kilograms. Is that okay? Now move on to the next buckling, weighing 9 kilograms. The first column, no any 9 kilograms there. The second column I have 1, so I'll mark 1. The third column I'll mark the one that is there, so I'll add it up to this to make it 2. The fourth column I have 2, so I'll mark the first, add it up to this to make it 3, and then mark the fourth, add it up here to make it 4. And then the fifth column I have 1 buckling weighing 9 kilograms over there. So if I add it here, I'll have to cross this. So I have 5 bucklings, each weighing 9 kilograms. Okay, I move on to 10 kilograms. In the first column I have 1, so I'll mark under the tally 1. Second column I have 1, I'll add it up to this to make it 2. Third column I don't have any. The fourth column I have 1, I'll add it up to this to make it 3. The fifth column I don't have any. So in a nutshell, I have 3 bucklings, each weighing 10 kilograms. Okay, now I move on to 11. The first column I have 1, so I'll mark 1. The second column I have 1, I'll add it up to make it 2. Third column I don't have any 11. Fourth column no 11, and then the fifth column none. So I have 2 bucklings, each weighing 11 kilograms. I move on to the next 12. The first column I have 1, I'll mark 1. Second column none. Third column I have 1, I'll add it up to this to make it 2. Fourth column I have 1, add it up to this, it will make it 3. In the fifth column I don't have any. So I have 3 bucklings weighing 12 kilograms each. I move on to 13. In the first column I have 1, so I'll mark 1. Second column I have 1, 2. I'll add it to the previous one to make it 2. In the third column I have 2, so I'll mark them one after the other. So I'll mark this, add it up to make it 3, and then the next one still in the third column I'll add it up to make it 4, and then I have 1 in the 5th column. If I add it up to this, it will make it 5. So 5 bucklings, each weighing 13 kilograms. And then I move to 14. None in the 1st column, none in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. So I'll mark 1 under the tally. And then the 5th column, I have 1 more. I'll add it up to this to make it 2. So 2 bucklings weigh 14 kilograms each. Okay, I move on to 15. I have 1 in the 1st column, and that's all. So I'll just have 1 under my tally. So only 1 buckling weigh 15 kilograms. I move on to 16. I have 2 in the 5th column. I mark the 2nd to the last. I tick 1 here and then mark the last value. I tick 2. So I have 2 bucklings, each weighing 16 kilograms. Now you can see the benefit of using different symbols to mark your raw data. It will enable you to know if you have fully covered all the data given to you. As you can see, there's no any of the weights. None of the weights have not been marked. I've marked all of them, okay? So I'm all set. I move on to the 3rd column. The frequency, I represent the frequency with the letter F, okay? Now the frequency, all I need to do is just to replicate what I have in my tally. So under 8, 2 bucklings weigh 8 kilograms. So over here I write 2. Under 9, or adjacent to 9, adjacent to 9, I have 5 bucklings weighing 9 kilograms each. So here I write 5. And then adjacent to 10, I have 3 bucklings weighing 10 kilograms each. So I write 3 over here. Then for 11, I have 2 bucklings. So I write 2 under the frequency column. Under the tally, I have 3 bucklings weighing 12 kilograms. So here I write 3. Then for 13, I have 5 bucklings. So I write 5 here. And then for 14, I have 2 bucklings weighing 14 kilograms. So I write 2 over here. 15 is 1, so I write out 1, and then 16 is 2, I write 2 over here. Now I'm all set. The next thing to do is to sum up this column, and my summation should be equal to 25. So I write the formula, summation of F equals 25. If you sum up this, you agree with me that it's equal to 25. And this symbol is known as summation. F is for frequency. So summation of the frequency column equals 25. And then I'll move on to the next column, the deviation. D stands for deviation. And the deviation equals the difference between X and A. X is another name for the mass column. So the values you have under the mass, that's from 8 to 16, represent the respective values of X. Okay? And then A stands for the assumed mean. So I write my assumed mean as 13 kilograms. So over here, I will start by carrying out the subtraction between X, the respective values of X and the value of A. So 8 minus 13 equals minus 5, 9 minus 13 equals minus 4, 10 minus 13 equals minus 3, 11 minus 13 equals minus 2, 12 minus 13 equals minus 1, 13 minus 13 equals 0, 14 minus 13 equals 1, 15 minus 13 equals 2, and finally 16 minus 13 equals 3. Okay, now I'm done with the column. I don't need to sum up this column because I wouldn't have to make use of the deviation in finding the mean using assumed mean. So I move on to the last column. I give it a name F times D, where F stands for the frequency and D stands for the deviation. In other words, to fill up this column, I'll have to find the product of the frequency and the deviation, the respective values of frequency and the respective values of the deviation. So 2 times minus 5 equals minus 10, 5 times minus 4 equals minus 20, 3 times minus 3 equals minus 9, 2 times minus 2 equals minus 4, 3 times minus 1 equals minus 3, 5 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 2 is 2, and then 2 times 3 is 6. So all I need to do is to sum up the last column. Minus 10, minus 20, minus 9, minus 4, minus 3, plus 2, plus 2, plus 6 equals the summation of F of D, summation of this column. As I've mentioned earlier, this symbol stands for summation, and F and D means the product of frequency and the deviation. So if you sum up this column, it boils down to minus 36. Okay, so from what I've done, I am through with the first part of the question. I'm done constructing a frequency table. And take note, your frequency table, the values you have in your frequency table must be sufficient for you to be able to calculate the mean from for the second part of the question. So I'll write out the values I have. Now the summation of f, the B part of the question now, summation of f, the summation of the frequency is 25. I have 25 bucklings. Summation of the product of the frequency and the deviation equals minus 36. And what else? My assumed mean equals 13. Okay, now I'll write the formula for the assumed mean. How do I find the mean? This symbol x with a bar at the top is called x bar. It's the symbol for mean. So mean equals assumed mean plus the summation of the product of the frequency and the deviation divided by the summation of the frequency. So this is my formula for mean using assumed mean. So without wasting time, I'll substitute all the values for the three different parameters I have over here. So A is the assumed mean, which is 13, plus summation of f of d is minus 36 divided by summation of f is 25. Now I had to put minus 36 in a bracket because if this negative sign multiplies this positive sign, the sign will change. So I wouldn't want to leave it that way to avoid confusion. Okay, so I'll continue the solution. I'll write out my 13. So plus times minus is minus. 36 divided by 25 equals 1.44. And then if I find a difference between 13 and 1.44, it boils down to 11.56 kilograms. So the mean of the bucklings, of the 25 bucklings given to me in this question, using assumed mean of 13 kilograms, boils down to 11.56. It will interest you to know that any method you use in finding the mean, as long as you plug in your values appropriately, you will arrive at the same answer. Thank you for watching my YouTube video today. I do hope you understood the solution to the problem, and I will appreciate if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, Victorian STEM. Kindly do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you have not liked any of our videos, I will appreciate if you can do so now, and kindly share my videos with your friends. I will appreciate that. Thank you very much, and see you the next time. Bye bye.